as we look at the proper timekeeping and getting back on track of that, one of the often overlooked holidays, timekeeping, festivals, set-apart times, Moedim, is the festival of New Year, at the head of the months. One head, this is important, hashtag one head, one mediator, hashtag one mediator, hashtag one law. On the first day of the first month falls the beginning of the months for you. It is the beginning of the months of the year. You are to do no work. You shall offer a he-goat for a sin offering, which must be offered separately from the other sacrifices to atone for you. In addition, you are to sacrifice one young bull. By the way, the bull, this is a picture of the restoration of the patriarchy. When you look at the picture of the bulls and the rams and the sheep, this is referencing Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and their lineage, who are referred to in Enoch's dream visions as these clean animals, animals for acceptable sacrifice. This is important for those of you who don't understand that you are the animal, and that the picture you're supposed to see is the beings from above that nest in the branches in the heavens, the beings that were produced from these unholy unions, the giants that ate man and began to devour human beings and lay waste to all that the Father had once called good. You are that. So you are the dinner in that scenario. So later when you get to Moses' limited, lesser data set of good information, man, you're going to have a tough time pinning one on me. Limited, latter data set of information, you have to understand that the Father didn't just wake up one day and decide that the end goal was ubiquitous, wanton slaughter of animals that he loved and called good. He never wanted that. Israel wanted that because the nations had those festivals in Syria and Egypt and around about before Israel ever even thought, hey, you know what? I'd like to be like the nations. Surely that will work out. They're doing it today with their Abraham Accords. Hashtag Abraham Accords fail. They know nothing of the Assyrian coming, neither can they. I talk to them face to face regularly. Their wives have to contribute to the discourse because these men are too cowardly to respond. Watching their Abraham Accords collapse as wanton bloodshed and looting and rioting and plunder occurs at the tomb of the patriarchs in the streets of Nazareth, as this just isn't getting together. It's not coexisting, like Assad says, being a mixed and mingled abomination of a bastard reprobate from below. People that should know better, do better. Why do you, when your brother, created in the image and likeness of your Father in heaven, asks you a direct question, what foul nastiness is it in you that turns your eyes away from that regularly? Wake up. Do better. What kind of secret do you think is going to be hidden that will not also be made known? Why does your wife in giddy nervousness have to respond because you're too cowardly to talk to your brother? Man to man, man up. In addition, you are to sacrifice one young bull, again one ram. This is during the festival of Rosh HaShanah. No, not at the evening of the year. When I say at the evening of the year, just as there is a morning each day and an evening each day, there is a morning, aka springtime, and there is an evening of the year. This within the confines of the divisions of light and darkness and the things that were divided when the Father called them good. So what the evening wolves of Judaism celebrate the beginning of their day, asinine. Imagine God assigning the declaration of a day's beginning to a human being that wasn't. I mean, consider it a good job for the luminaries whose words in fact do go out. So if the evening of the day is when the light is waning, darkening, then when is the evening of the year? Well, that's in the fall of the year. So that'll be important when we talk about trumpets and reverberations and soundings. as this is the opposite, it's both converse and inverse, depending upon the context, at the beginning of the year here, in the springtime. And it is separate, of course, from the regular burnt offerings, which are to be offered on the first day of the month itself. The reason this was lost from you is because people refused to obey and follow and listen to one head, one priest, one king, one new man, one man raised up from the dead, seated at the right hand of power. The high priest, in keeping with the anointing that Isaac laid hands on Jacob's son Levi for the priesthood, right hand, and of course the left hand on Judah for the kingship, with the one being lower than the other, and the wicked and the bending and the twisting is to flip the two, or worse, like the Assyrian, erase them both, which is why you hear no mentioning of rightful kings within Islam ruling over Jerusalem, but instead emirs and sultans and imams, absent mediation of a priest, godless, murderous abominations. What can a king bring, absent mediation at the right hand of power, except for what the one brings to Syria? Death and destruction and carnage. All for the state, the state. He's put a state, something that was not in the beginning and will not be in the end. And this is what you bludgeon and murder people for, King Nothing?